All right. We are live. Welcome, everybody, to the stream. Utah Jazz, Detroit Pistons, Wednesday, November 5th, 2025. Tip-off is underway. Taking control by the Detroit Pistons. Ausar Thompson coming back the other way, gives it up to Duncan. Duncan at the three-point line, gives it back to Cade. Cade guarded by Keontae George. Cade inside to Duren. Duren inside to Ausar for the slam. Pistons take a 2-0 lead. What's going on, everyone? How we doing? Welcome to the stream. Utah Jazz coming back the other way. Jazz gets it inside to Svi Mykhailiuk, the former Piston. Nurkic at the top of the key, guarded by Duren. Nurkic back to Lauri Markkanen for three. Markkanen off the mark. Cade with the other board, coming back the other way, gets it inside to Duren. Duren goes at the rim for a slam. 4-0 Pistons take a 4-0 lead here early in the first quarter. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. What's going on, everyone? Nurkic to the top of the key, guarded by Duren. Inside to Svi Mykhailiuk. Mykhailiuk goes up and in. Good to see Svi Mykhailiuk on a roster. Former Piston a couple years ago, so shout out to Svi Mykhailiuk. Cade goes inside, drives to the hole, inside and out, grabbed by Nurkic. Utah Jazz coming back the other way. Markkanen goes at Beef Stew. Markkanen gets a shot blocked by Beef Stew, back outside to George, and throws it away for the Utah Jazz. That's going to be Pistons basketball down at the other end of the lane. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. What's going on, everybody? Pistons and Jazz. Will Hardy, fourth season as the Utah Jazz head coach. Appreciate you guys all being here. Pistons starting their season 5-2. That's the best record for the Pistons since 2017. Cade gives it inside to Ausar. Ausar travels, though. It's going to be come back the other way. Isaiah Stewart has 12 consecutive games with at least one or more blocks. It's the second longest active streak in the NBA. JB Bickerstaff, his second season as the Pistons head coach, coming off a terrific season last year, made the Pistons get to the playoffs. Ausar with a steal and a slam. Coming back the other way. Nice defensive play from Ausar Thompson, and the Pistons have a 6-2 lead. Very nicely done by Ausar. Here come the Utah Jazz coming back the other way. Keontae George guarded by Ausar. Ausar trying to cause George problems. George inside takes the jump shot. Off the mark, but he's going to be fouled. He's going to be going to the free throw line for the Utah Jazz. Appreciate you guys all being here. What's going on? Pistons and Utah Jazz. Appreciate you guys being here. This freaking webcam, dude, I'm going to throw in a lake, dude. It cannot stay in focus to save its freaking life, man. It's unbelievable. We're going to be bringing you guys play-by-play reaction back and forth for the Detroit Pistons, Utah Jazz game tonight. Appreciate you guys all being here. What's going on, everyone? Hopefully you guys are all having a great, fantastic night. Keontae George, first free throw up and in for the Utah Jazz. 6-3 basketball game. Second free throw is coming away. Oh my gosh, dude, this webcam is driving me insane tonight. Holy cow. Keontae George back at the free throw line once again. Second free throw on the way. What's going on, Jake? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you, buddy. What's going on, Jake? Keontae George hits the second one. Utah Jazz cut it back down to 6-4. Kay Cunningham not rocking the braided look today. He's got the full fro out, so let's see if that does him any good tonight. He was doing pretty well with the braids, so we'll see. Kay gets it inside to Ausar. Ausar goes to the rim. It's going to be off the board. Svi Mykhailiuk coming back the other way for the Jazz. Svi Mykhailiuk gets it back to Nurkic. Nurkic on the three-point line gives it back to George. Guarded by Ausar. George drives inside. Tough shot from Keontae George. Beef Stew on the board. Here come the Pistons back the other way. Ausar to full court. Gives it up to Cade. Cade for three. Off the mark. Boarded by Duren inside. Jalen Duren gets it back out. Jalen Duren back to Cade. Cade working on Nurkic. Inside to Duren. Duren back to Ausar. Ausar thought about it. It's going to be missed, though, off the rim, boarded by Nurkic. Here come the Jazz. George, pull up, jump shot three, off the mark. Duren saves it. Back to Duncan Robinson. Pistons are rocking Ausar, Cade, Beef Stew, Duren, and Duncan Robinson for their starting five in this game. Beef Stew for three from the corner. Off the mark, boarded by Nurkic. Here come the Utah Jazz back the other way. 9 minutes left to play here in the first quarter. Keontae George gets it inside to Nurkic. Nurkic working on Duren. Nurkic tries to get inside to Keontae George. Turns it over, though. Here comes Beef Stew coming back the other way. Isaiah Stewart Gets it to Cade. Asar working on the Jazz. Gets it back outside of Duncan. Duncan for three. Finally hits it. First three-pointer of the game for either team. Duncan Robinson hits it to go, and the Pistons take a 9-4 lead here early in the first quarter. Keontae George working on Asar Thompson. Asar at the top of the key. George trying to make a man miss. Gives it up to Nurkic. Nurkic trying to find the open guy. Pistons causing him problems. Nurkic inside of Duren. Nurkic just throws up a prayer way off the mark because Nurkic gets his own rebound. Nurkic goes back to Keontae George. Three-point line. Back to Svi Mykhailiuk. Mykhailiuk for three. That's up and in. Mykhailiuk hits it to go. 7-9 game. Svi Mykhailiuk has 5 points in this game to start. 8 minutes left to play here in the first quarter. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. What's going on, everyone? Cade working off the screen to Asar. Gets it back to Beef Stew. Beef Stew, top of the corner for three. Thought about a three. Working on Nurkic. Nowhere to go for Beef Stew. Gets it inside of Jalen Duren. Duren. Inside, off the rim, and it's going to be going back the other way for the Utah Jazz. Keontae George to full court. George working inside. Gives it back to Svi for another three-point attempt. On the way and good. 10-9 lead for the Utah Jazz. Svi Mykhailiuk, man. He can shoot it. 8 points so far for Svi. Good to see he's having success, though, with the NBA roster. Asar thought about a jump shot. Gets it back outside of Beef Stew. Beef Stew to Duncan Robinson. Robinson for three. Off the mark. Way off the mark. And Markkanen with the rebound come back the other way. What's going on, eBay? As soon as this game is over with, so probably around 10 if I had to guess, 10 Eastern time. Svi to full court, inside working on Beef Stew, and Svi Mykhailiuk is carving up this Detroit Pistons defense. And the Pistons are going to be taking a timeout, going to a commercial break, man. Svi Mykhailiuk, 10 points so far in this first quarter, and he is working on this Pistons roster. Appreciate you, eBay. Thanks for coming in, dude. Got a commercial break coming up right now. So, the Utah Jazz, they're rocking out Lauri Markkanen, Trey Hendricks, Nurkic, Mykhailiuk, and Keontae George. Taylor Hendricks, excuse me. So, the Jazz are 3-4. Coming into Detroit, 7 minutes left to play here in the first quarter. Pistons are looking to improve to 6-2. I believe the spread tonight was, I think the Pistons were a 10.5 point favorite, something like that. I'm going to be trying to break down as many of these Pistons basketball games throughout the night and throughout the season. The only times where it's going to be an issue is Monday and Tuesday night. I'm on a bowling league, so I can't be doing the broadcast, unfortunately. But Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I'll be doing as many Pistons games as I can. So Pistons got the Jazz tonight. And then we got the Brooklyn Nets on Friday night. That begins the Cup play, NBA Cup group play for the Pistons. They're going to be going to the 0-7 Brooklyn Nets on the road Friday night, 7:30. And then we got the Sixers on the road, 7:30 for Sunday night basketball. And then pretty good to go, man. But appreciate you guys tuning in. Like and subscribe if you guys are new. Let me know who's here in the chat. I promise I don't bite. Let me know if you guys are a Jazz fan, Pistons fan, basketball fan in general. We're going to be doing a lot more of these Pistons play-by-play games as we progress into the near future. So, appreciate you all tuning in, man. What's going on, everybody? How we doing? So, the Pistons looking good these past couple of nights here. Coming off of a commercial break, Svi Mykhailiuk has been tearing us up tonight so far, so we got to get an answer for him so far. What's up, Dina? What's going on, Jake? How you doing? Appreciate you stopping in. What's going on? Everybody's fantastic. Currently in a commercial break right now. Pistons looking to get back into the swing of things. Pistons had like a comfortable lead over the Memphis Grizzlies a couple days ago, and then the Memphis Grizzlies actually came back. They cut the deficit down to like 3-4 points, but they're back in business now, so good to go. But good to see Svi Mykhailiuk working well with the Utah Jazz. It's all about fit in the NBA, man. Sometimes, listen, you get drafted by a certain organization, you don't get the certain amount of playing time that you deserve, or you're developing on your game, you go somewhere else. And Svi Mykhailiuk, man, he's been working out pretty well so far for the Utah Jazz. So, good to see it. He was always one of my favorites when the Pistons had him. I believe he was a starter at one point, I want to say. That's how bad the Pistons were, was we had to start Svi Mykhailiuk because either our players were injured or our draft classes were just sucking. But back from the commercial break here, Cade come back the other way with the basketball. Cade inside to Duncan. Duncan stolen away by the Jazz. Here come the Jazz, come back the other way. Nurkic at the top of the key gets it back to Svi Mykhailiuk. Mykhailiuk thought about a three. Svi working on Beef Stew. Beef Stew giving Svi problems. Outside to Keontae George, guarded by Beef Stew. 5 seconds on the shot clock. George working at Beef Stew, off the rim. And it looks like it's going to stay here with the Jazz. There's 3 seconds left on the shot clock, but nice defense so far from Beef Stew. Oh, I got to make sure I got to put up a timeout. There we go. One of the timeouts went away for the Pistons. But yeah, like I said, we're going to be doing as many Pistons games as I can this year. I think we got the Brooklyn Nets on Friday, so I'm going to be doing that game as well. Keontae George gets up a quick shot, rebounded inside to Lauri Markkanen for the slam, and the Jazz take a 14-9 lead here. Jazz are working on a 10-0 run the last 2 minutes of the game. Cade's trying to disrupt that. Beef Stew for 3. Beef Stew on the way and through. Huge hoop for Isaiah Stewart, and the Pistons cut it back down to a two-point deficit. Nurkic working on Duren inside. Markkanen spot up 3. That's off the mark. Cade with the rebound coming back the other way. Cade with the basketball inside to Duren, and it's going to be turned over. Bad pass from Cade way over Duren's head, and the Jazz are coming back down the other way. So Pistons have Duren, Cunningham, LeVert, Stewart, and Robinson out on the floor right now. Keontae George to full court, guarded by Caris LeVert. LeVert inside to Markkanen. Markkanen almost turned it over. Back over to Nurkic. Keontae George top of the key. Caris LeVert working on him. George thought about a 3. Gives it back to Nurkic for a deep 3. That is in and out. Boarded by Duren. Here come back the other way for the Pistons. Cade Cunningham to full court. Cade guarded by Keontae George. Cade inside to Duren. Duren thought about a 3. Gets it inside. And it's going to be off the rim. And it looks like Duren's going to be having some free throws coming his way. If you guys are new to the stream here, like and subscribe. Hopefully you guys are all doing fantastic. We got the Utah Jazz, Detroit Pistons tonight on a Wednesday night in the Motor City. The Pistons have a 2-game road trip. They got the Nets on Friday, then the Sixers this Sunday. I'll be doing both of those games back-to-back for you guys as well. So Jalen Duren takes the stripe. He's been 86% from the free throw line so far this season. Let's see if he can knock these down. First free throw in and out. Still a 2-point basketball game. 5:22 left to play here in the first quarter. Ron Holland checks into the game for Duncan Robinson. Tobias Harris has been hurt the past couple of games, so they've had to use a bunch of different rotations with Isaiah Stewart, Jalen Duren. Isaiah Stewart checks out. Javonte Green's getting more minutes. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some Paul Reed tonight as well. Paul Reed's a solid player. I don't know why the Pistons don't play him more. He was big for us in the Houston win a couple weeks ago. Duren doesn't get both free throws to fall. He misses both of them. Here come the Jazz coming back the other way. Keontae George to full court. Jazz have George, Mykhailiuk, Bailey, Markkanen, and Nurkic. Markkanen inside, working on LeVert. Markkanen doesn't get it to go. Duren inside. Here come the Pistons back the other way. Cade to full court. Cade guarded by Lauri Markkanen. Inside to Duren. Duren goes right at Keontae George. Bully ball just runs him over and slams it home for the Pistons, so we got a tie ball game. I know. What's up, Jimmy? Beef Stew's amazing this year. I love Beef Stew. He's been such a good player for us so far. Nurkic inside to Duren. Duren guarded by Nurkic. Here come the Pistons back the other way. Nurkic off the mark. Duren coming back the other way for the Pistons. Cade for 3. Off the mark. Nurkic with the board. Still a tie basketball game, 14-14 in the first quarter here. 4 minutes left to play. Here come the Jazz. Keontae George guarded by Ron Holland. George all the way to the rim. He gets fouled. He's going to be going to the free throw line to shoot a pair of free throws. Foul is on Ron Holland. His first of the game. Utah Jazz and Svi Mykhailiuk has been carving us up. Jimmy, Svi Mykhailiuk is starting for the Utah Jazz. Remember him, Svi Mykhailiuk? He had a good time. Keontae George, first free throw on the way. He had a terrific game against the Celtics on Monday. 31 points, 5 boards, and 4 assists. Keontae George is a nice young player for the Utah Jazz. 15-14 this year. Kevin Love checks into the basketball game for the Utah Jazz. Easy. Yeah, I forgot. I don't know if he was a late first rounder or an early second round pick. I think he was an early second round pick for the Pistons. He played a couple years for us, got traded around to a bunch of teams. He was on the Lakers at one point, and now he found himself with the Utah Jazz. Keontae George knocks down a pair of free throws, 16-14 Jazz. Cade Cunningham to full court, looking for his first points of the game. Duren sets the screen for Cade. Cade rolls off of it, gets it inside to Duren. Duren goes right at the rim and gets it to go. Jalen Duren, man, ties it up 16-16 Pistons. Utah Jazz come back the other way. Kevin Love checks into the basketball game. He's got the ball, gets it back to Ace Bailey. Ace Bailey inside, gets it stolen by Cade, but it looks like it's going to be a reach-around foul inside on Ace Bailey. J.B. Bickerstaff, when he was with the Cleveland Cavaliers, he coached Kevin Love for that little tenure that he had. So, a couple of Pistons, former Pistons, checking in with the Utah Jazz coaching staff on the sidelines as well. Good to see it. Kevin Love is 18th season in the NBA. Ace Bailey hits the first free throw to go. Ace Bailey, first round pick for the Utah Jazz in this past draft out of Rutgers. Bailey, second free throw on the way, is up and in. Utah Jazz take a 2-point lead. Here come the Pistons back the other way. Cade Cunningham to full court. Cade, top of the key. Javonte Green trying to help him out. Javonte Green goes inside. He gets fouled, and he's going to be going to the free throw line to shoot a pair of free throws. Yeah, this is a home game. It's at Little Caesars Arena. So, Jazz... interesting team this year. They got a nice young core, so they're still working on it right now, trying to get their groove together. Lauri Markkanen is a nice, young, solid player for the Jazz. The Pistons, I don't know, like, we have Tobias Harris, but Lauri Markkanen would be very solid to go with Cade. But he would probably cost a lot, so I think Trajan Lang is just going to stay put with that. Javonte Green hits the first free throw, 18-17 Jazz. Javonte Green, second free throw on the way. See if he can knock both of these down here. Javonte Green, second free throw, up and in. Tie basketball game for the Pistons. 18-18. Keontae George working on Ron Holland. George at the top of the key, guarded by Karis LeVert. George gets it back outside to Love. George thought about a three, doesn't take it, works inside against Paul Reed, who checks into the game, and he hits a spot-up jumper. Nice job from Keontae George working inside on Paul Reed. Here come the Pistons. Cade Cunningham still scoreless in this game. He's looking for his first points of the game. Cade gets it back outside to Ron Holland, works it back inside to Cade. Cade working in the post on Ace Bailey. Cade working one-on-one. Cade goes to the rim, count the bucket and the foul. Cade Cunningham gets his first bucket of the game, and he's going to be going to the free throw line for a three-point play. Only a matter of time before Cade got involved in the basketball game. So 2020 basketball game. Cade looking to complete the three-point play here for his first points of the game. 3 minutes left to play here in the first quarter. We got a commercial break coming up for you guys as well. But yeah, we got Utah Jazz tonight, Detroit Pistons, Brooklyn Nets we got on Friday night, and then 76ers, we're going to be breaking down that game as well on Sunday. So, looking forward to it. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know in the chat. Appreciate you guys all tuning in, guys. Welcome to the party. Pistons, man. They're starting off the season 5-2. Their best start since 2017. That was led by Tobias, Reggie Jackson, Andre Drummond. That was a solid team that the Pistons had. And then we blew it all up for Mr. Blake Griffin. Yeah, the Bulls, believe it or not, they're the 1 seed right now. They're 6-1. The Bulls are having a heck of a start to the season so far. Then you got Philly right with Detroit. Then Milwaukee's behind Detroit. Then you got the Heat, the Knicks, the Cavs. Still super early on in the season so far, but looking forward to it. So I'll give you some stats right now. So it's still early to tell. Leading scorer for the Pistons right now is Duren. Duren's got 6 points with 6 boards already in this game. Cade's got 2 and 2. 4 assists already for Cade Cunningham. I love Cade's game. He's such a perfect player because he can create his own shot if he needs to, but it's almost like Cade moves in slow motion with the basketball. And I don't think his first move and his first priority is to be a selfish player and score immediately for himself. He's always looking for his teammates first, and he slows the game down at such a great pace to where he always dishes it off to an assist guy to make a 3 or a corner 3, or hoping to get Duncan Robinson some more opportunities, Karis LeVert. See what happens with Malik Beasley. But yeah, it's kind of crazy so far. But Duren has been really good so far to start the season for the Pistons. He's been really productive. His defense has improved a lot. Beef Stew has been really solid for the Pistons so far. He's stepping up for the injured Tobias Harris in this game. I love the development Asar Thompson's doing. I mean, Asar is going to be one of the best two-way players in the NBA in like 3-4 years. Yeah, loving the progress so far from this young core. And Trajan Langdon's building it the right way. Cade completes the 3-point play. Pistons take a 21-20 ball game lead here. 3 minutes left to play here in the first quarter. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. Like and subscribe if you guys are new. Keontae George at the top of the key. Gets it back to Kevin Love. Kevin Love dishes it back outside to Ace Bailey. Ace Bailey working on Karis LeVert. Bailey trying to make a man miss. Spot up jump shot is good. Ace Bailey working on Karis LeVert. 5th pick in the 2025 NBA draft out of Rutgers. Looking good so far for the Utah Jazz. Javonte Green, top of the key, guarded by Lauri Markkanen. Karis LeVert, pull up 3. Off the mark. Keontae George with the rebound, falls out of his hands. Ron Holland comes up with it. Inside of Javonte Green. Javonte working on Kevin Love, and Kevin Love is going to foul Javonte Green, and Javonte Green's going to go to the free throw line. What's up, Money Time? How you doing, buddy? Appreciate you stopping in. Go Pistons. Yes, sir. Appreciate you being here. What's going on, dude? Javonte Green goes to the free throw line. Sorry, guys. Got this commercial break in front of you right here. Javonte Green, first free throw up and off the rim. Almost fell through. It kind of like took 3 bounces before it fell off the rim. 2:25 left to play here in the first quarter. Pistons are in the bonus. Cade Cunningham checks out for a breather here. Looking to get Marcus Sasser back into the game. He's been injured the start of this season, but Marcus Sasser can provide solid minutes for Cade when he comes back healthy. So you got Asar, Javonte Green, Paul Reed, Karis LeVert, and Ron Holland on the floor for the Pistons. Kevin Love works inside to Ace Bailey. Ace Bailey gets fouled by Ron Holland, and Ace Bailey's going to be shooting another couple free throws for the Utah Jazz here. 2:12 left to play here in the first quarter. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. Like the live stream. It's free. It helps out the stream. Subscribe if you guys are new. We're going to be breaking down as many Pistons games as we possibly can this year for the 82-game season. Ace Bailey, first free throw up and off the mark. It's crazy how Rutgers had 2 top 5 picks in the draft and they missed the tournament. Like, how does that remotely happen? Ace Bailey, second free throw up and good for the Utah Jazz. Jazz 23, Pistons 21. 23-22, excuse me. I missed that free throw from Javonte Green. Paul Reed working on the Jazz. Karis LeVert, looks like a loose ball foul going against the Pistons on Paul Reed setting the screen here. It's going to be back the other way for the Utah Jazz. So 2 minutes left to play here. Markkanen checks back into the game. He checks in for the Utah Jazz as well out of Duke. Ace Bailey, Keontae George check out. They go to the bench here as well. Pistons got 4 turnovers. Jazz have 3. Walter Clayton Jr. checks into the game. National champion with the Florida Gators last year. Clayton at the top of the key working on Asar. Asar switches back off to Lauri. Lauri works inside. Lauri gets it back outside to Clayton. Clayton thought about a 3 working inside. Gets it back out for the Jazz, and it is up and in. A favorable roll here for the Jazz, and Harkless knocks down the three here for the Utah Jazz. Asar to full court, gets it inside to Ron Holland. Ron Holland thought about it, gets it back out to Karis LeVert. Karis LeVert working inside on Harkless. Karis LeVert spins and gets it to go. Nice left-handed floater layup to cut it back down to 2 here. 26-24 Utah Jazz. Walter Clayton works inside, turns it over. Karis LeVert coming back the other way. It's 2-on-1. Ron Holland trailing. Ron Holland for the alley-oop, and it good. Good to go here for the Pistons. Caught it mid-air awkwardly. He thought about slamming it, but then kind of readjusted it and just kind of laid it in for the Pistons. Pistons have 16 points in the paint compared to Utah Jazz's 6. Final minute left to play here in the first quarter. Walter Clayton working on Javonte Green. Clayton back to Kevin Love. Deep three for Kevin Love. Off the mark. Karis LeVert coming back the other way for the Stones. LeVert to the basket. Gets fouled, and he's going to be going to the free throw line. Can't connect, but Karis LeVert is shooting a pair of free throws on the way for the Pistons. Pistons have added more defense this year with Karis LeVert. And Ron Holland's working on his game still as well. Chaz Lanier, the guy that we drafted in the second round, still getting a couple minutes. He's still getting acclimated to the speed of the NBA, but I think late in the season you're going to see a lot more of Chaz Lanier off the bench. Karis LeVert hits both free throws here, and the Pistons take a 2-point lead. 40 seconds left to play in the first. Asar working on Walter Clayton. Clayton nearly turned it over. Asar giving hell to the Jazz right now. Clayton thought about a three, works inside, passes it back to Kevin Love. Kevin Love outside to Markkanen. Markkanen's going to be fouled by Karis LeVert. Utah Jazz are in the bonus, and Markkanen's going to be going to the free throw line here. Still a competitive basketball game. 2-point game. Anything can happen here. Yeah, so Filipowski is going to be going to the free throw line here. He's going to be shooting a pair of free throws here. First free throw on the way is up and in. 27-28 Pistons. Duncan Robinson and Cade check into the basketball game. It's weird how JB, checks in Cade with, 30 seconds left to play in the first quarter. You'd usually just assume, okay, just run out the first quarter and check him in back in the, at the top of the second, but I guess he wants every possession that matters, so. Filipowski, second free throw on the way here for the Utah Jazz. See if he can knock both of these down. Filipowski gets it to go. Filipowski was the 32nd pick in the draft, so just outside the first round. Or was that the last pick in the draft? I guess there's 32 teams, right? But, yeah, so the final pick in the first round. Cade working inside, gives it back to Duncan. Duncan's fouled at the top of the key by Walter Clayton, and Duncan's going to be shooting a pair of free throws here. 7 seconds left to play here at the end of the first quarter. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. Like and subscribe if you guys are new. We're going to be doing as many of these Pistons play-by-play games as we can throughout the night and throughout the year. Duncan Robinson, first free throw on the way. Off the mark. Duncan trying to split both of these here. That was so weird. Cade checked in for 5 seconds, and then JB Bickerstaff checked him right back out of the game. I don't know what the point of that was, but suit yourself, JB. That was kind of interesting. Maybe defensively, I guess. 7 seconds, come back the other way for the Jazz. Duncan Robinson's second free throw on the way is off the mark. Duncan misses both free throws here. Here come the Utah Jazz. 4, 3. Walter Clayton with the basketball. 2. Inside to Markkanen. Markkanen hits it to go at the buzzer. And the Jazz take a 2-point lead at the end of the first quarter, going to the second. We got a commercial break coming up. See if the Pistons can respond nicely here. Jazz 30, Pistons 28. So, Pistons still trying to find their three-point rhythm. Duncan Robinson does have a 3 in this game. So does Beef Stew. Cade right now, he's got 3 points, 4 assists. Durham with 6 and 6. Asar with 4 points and a board. Good to see Paul Reed, though, getting some more minutes. He can give us some solid defense, and he can actually score. He has a nice little mid-range game, too. So when Paul Reed, like I said, you're only going to see Paul Reed check into the game when, like, the Pistons are shorthanded. So Tobias is currently injured right now, so you're going to see Paul Reed check into the basketball game more because of the lack of size the Pistons have right now. They got Beef Stew and Duren, and that's really their only 2 bigs, and then Paul Reed's going to be giving them some kind of assistance on the defensive side of the ball here. We got a commercial break coming up. Looking forward to the second quarter here. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. So like I said, Pistons, they got the Utah Jazz tonight. Should be a competitive, close basketball game. You can never trust these spreads in the NBA. Like, the Pistons were a 10.5-point favorite, but that can just disappear instantly in, like, 30 seconds. Team goes on a run back and forth. They had a couple threes, and that's wiped away instantly. But Jazz are doing pretty well offensively against the Stones right now. Cade hasn't really gotten involved quite just yet. He's got 4 assists in this game, but I want to see him be more aggressive. He's a second half kind of player. What I've noticed throughout his career, where he kind of gets more of his teammates involved first, and then if it's a last resort where they need a bucket, Cade will kind of take over in the second half of these games, which is what he did against the Grizzlies on Monday night, where he had like 19 of his 33 points came in the fourth quarter, or 14 of his 33, whatever it was. So not too shabby. So start of the second quarter here, back from the commercial break. Appreciate you guys all tuning in, guys. Like and subscribe if you guys are new. Going to be back in these Detroit Pistons games as much as we can this year. Utah Jazz come back the other way. Walter Clayton with the basketball, guarded by Asar. Clayton gets it inside to Filipowski, back to Markkanen. Outside to Clayton at the three-point line, guarded by Asar. Clayton gets a lob pass back to Filipowski, in and out for 3. It's going to be boarded by Asar. Asar come back the other way to Ron Holland. Ron Holland with the basketball. Inside to Karis LeVert, stolen by Nurkic. Back to Walter Clayton with the basketball. Svi Mykhailiuk for 3. Good to go. Svi Mykhailiuk, man. Talk about a 3-point shooter, man. I think he's 4 for 4 from 3 tonight. 3 for 3 from 13 points for the Jazz so far. Isaiah Stewart gets it over to Karis LeVert. LeVert at the top of the key, working on Nurkic. LeVert tries a 3. That is good. Karis LeVert knocks down a huge triple, and the Pistons cut the deficit back down to 2 here. 2-point basketball game, Jazz up 2. Nurkic guarded by Beef Stew at the top of the key. Inside to Markkanen. Markkanen off the mark, boarded by Javonte Green. Karis LeVert with the basketball to full court. LeVert, spot up 3, heat check. LeVert knocks it down. How about Karis LeVert hitting back-to-back triples in this game? 34-33 Pistons. Walter Clayton with the basketball, guarded by Asar. Turns it over, and the Pistons get the basketball back the other way. A gift from Walter Clayton. And the Pistons up 1, thanks to 2 huge back-to-back knockdown threes. Heat check from Karis LeVert. Let's see if they can feed him again here on this possession. Ron Holland checks it in for Asar Thompson, come back the other way. Pistons have Ron Holland, Asar, Beef Stew, Javonte Green, and Karis LeVert on the floor. Stewart trying to direct the offense. Working on Nurkic. Stewart back to LeVert, guarded by Svi Mykhailiuk. LeVert's been the hot hand. LeVert tried a circus shot over the backboard, but it's no good. Here come the Jazz back the other way. The Jazz, other way, Nurkic with the basketball, off the rim. Ron Holland with the basketball. Ron Holland drives to the rim, skies it, off the rim, no good, but gets his own board. Ron Holland back again with the left hand, no foul called, and here come the Utah Jazz. Walter Clayton back to Svi Mykhailiuk, Lauri Markkanen, wide open three, and that is good. Utah Jazz take a 2-point lead in this game. Caris LeVert back the other way for the Utah Jazz. For the Pistons, sorry. Guarded by Mykhailiuk. LeVert, Ausar, right to the rim. Tries the reverse layup off the mark, boarded by Nurkic. Here come the Jazz. Walter Clayton with the basketball. Top of the key, guarded by Beef Stew. Clayton, another turnover. And the Pistons are going back the other way. 36-34 basketball game. Utah Jazz have a 2-point lead. Caris LeVert with the basketball. Gives it up to Javonte Green. LeVert working on Markkanen. Top of the key. LeVert tries another three. Way off the mark. Air ball. Not even close. He tried his luck to go 3 for 3, and that one was way off the mark. 9 minutes left to play here in the first half. Utah Jazz coming back the other way. Clayton guarded by Ausar. Ausar doing good defense on Clayton. Mykhailiuk blocked by Beef Stew. Isaiah Stewart lets him know what's up. Not in his house, and Markkanen falls to the ground. He gets back up, but Beef Stew kind of stood over him. He's like, not today, Markkanen. Beef Stew's defense is so underrated. He's just like a modern-day version of Bill Laimbeer, and he's exactly what the Pistons need. Ron Holland at the top of the key. Gets it back to Ausar. Ausar, spin move, pull-up, jump shot, off the mark, boarded by Nurkic. Walter Clayton with the basketball. What's up, Dina? Nurkic, top of the key, guarded by LeVert. Markkanen for 3. Way off the mark. Isaiah Stewart with the basketball. Back to Ron Holland, full court. Holland gets it back to Beef Stew, guarded by Nurkic. Beef Stew working on Nurkic. Beef Stew lost the handle. Back to Markkanen. Jazz the other way. Markkanen up and good. And the Utah Jazz take a 4-point lead here. 8 minutes left to play here in the second quarter. Ausar. Inside, gives it back to Javonte Green. Caris LeVert, top of the key. LeVert. To Javonte Green for 3. Green, off the mark. Nurkic with the rebound. Walter Clayton the other way for the Jazz. 7:50 left to play here in the first half. Clayton spot up 3. Off the mark, in and out. That's going to be a loose ball foul going against the Jazz. Nurkic kind of got Ron Holland underneath, and the Pistons regained possession. 7:47 left to play here in the first half. Pistons down 4. This is going to be a good game, man. This could come down to the final shot. Utah Jazz have a nice squad. Don't let their record fool you. They've got some players on their squad. 7:47 left to play here in the first half. Cade Cunningham checks back into the game for the Pistons. Can't wait for Jaden Ivey to return it. He was working on a bike in practice earlier today, so good to see him moving around. Cade, spot up, pull up 3, off the mark, boarded by the Utah Jazz. Come back the other way. Hendricks boarded it back to Clayton at the top of the key, guarded by Duncan Robinson. Checks back into the game for the Pistons. Cade working on Markkanen, and Cade's going to grab a foul working on Markkanen inside the post. There's way too much of a size difference. And the Jazz keep it here. Ron Holland looks like he's checking into the game for the Pistons. Walker Kessler checks into the game here for the Utah Jazz. Caris LeVert checks out for the Pistons. Jazz 38, Pistons 34. Clayton back to Markkanen for 3. Good. Lauri Markkanen. He is an assassin. He can shoot it anywhere on the floor. Jazz take a 7-point lead. Markkanen with 12 points tonight. Cade with the basketball, working on Hendricks. Beef Stew. Almost lost the handle. Back to Ron Holland. Holland trying to make a man miss. Working on Nurkic. Holland, pull up, jump shot, off the mark. Svi Mykhailiuk with the rebound. Here come the Utah Jazz. 7-point lead for the Jazz. Come back the other way. 7 minutes left to play in the game. Mykhailiuk goes right at the rim. Thought about it, gets it inside of Nurkic, and Nurkic with a nice, easy deuce. And the Pistons have to take a timeout. Pistons down 9. 6 minutes left to play here in the first half. We got another commercial break coming up here. The Pistons take their second timeout of the game. And we got another commercial break. So, again, spacing has been a problem so far in this game. Markkanen, Svi Mykhailiuk, Keontae George, and Nurkic has 11 boards. He's been a monster on the glass so far in the first half. So the Pistons have got to find a way to get their groove back. They're down 9 with 6:40 left to play here in the first half. But again, the Utah Jazz are a solid squad, and anything can happen in the NBA. So you can't take these leads for granted because they can be erased very quickly if you aren't careful. Couple threes, couple missed possessions, couple turnovers, and a 15-point lead can just vanish in like a minute or so. In the NBA, you got to be careful, man. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. Welcome to the show. Hopefully you guys are all doing fantastic. What is going on? Give you guys some stats so far for the Pistons. 6 minutes left to play here in the first half. Pistons down 9. Duren has been solid so far for the Pistons for the starters. He's got 6 points, 6 boards, 2 assists. Karis LeVert's been our leading scorer off the bench. He's got 10 points, a board, assists, and a steal. Cade, 3 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. They must have taken back one of those assists somehow. Maybe it was off like a rebound or something. They gave it to him instead. But yeah, Mykhailiuk, he's been tearing it up from 3. 13 points in this game so far. He's the leading scorer for the Jazz. So the Pistons got to find a way to slow down this Utah Jazz offense. Mykhailiuk, he's been averaging 7, 3, and 1. He already has 13 points in this game so far. So coming back from a commercial break, Pistons down 9, trying to figure this out. If you guys are new, hit the like button, subscribe. Appreciate you guys all tuning in to the show. All right, coming back from commercial break here. Pistons trying to figure this out, man. Trying to get a quick bucket. All right. Ball's inbound. Cade Cunningham working the other way. Mykhailiuk working on Cade. Off to Ron Holland at the corner. Holland working on Ace Bailey. Holland back outside to Duncan Robinson. And Duncan Robinson's going to be called for a travel call. Took too many steps, and the Utah Jazz regained possession here. Coming back down the other way. Chaz Lanier, Dennis Jenkins chatting it up on the sidelines right now. Interesting 2 role pieces for the Pistons this year. Probably going to be part of their third string unit if I had to guess. Keontae George, the basketball, guarded by Duncan Robinson. Keontae George back outside to Svi Mykhailiuk. Mykhailiuk drills another 3. Svi Mykhailiuk has been tearing up this Pistons defense all game so far. Cade inside, gets it back outside to Beef Stew. Ron Holland thought about a 3. Duncan Robinson for 3. Gets it to go. Huge shoot from Duncan Robinson. We absolutely needed that desperately. Back down to 9 here. Keontae George, the basketball, top of the key, guarded by Holland. Ace Bailey working on Cade. Back outside, inside to Ace, and it's going to be a foul called on the Pistons. And the Jazz regain possession here with about 5:48 left to play here in the first half. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. Like and subscribe if you guys are new. Hit the like button. It's free. It helps out the stream. Pistons down 9. Trying to get some offense going here. They got to stop the Jazz here on this possession, though. They need one stop. Keontae George gets it inside to Kevin Love. Guarded by Beef Stew. Ron Holland working on Keontae George. Top of the key. Love sets the screen for Keontae George. Holland causing problems. Keontae George blocked by Ron Holland, going the other way. Ron Holland the basketball, and he slams it home. What a play from Ron Holland, going coast to coast, gets the foul. What a block in transition. A huge play from Ron Holland. Working on Keontae George, blocked the 3, stole it, got his own board essentially and went the other way, coast to coast, and slams it home. And Ron Holland is going to be going to the free throw line. Wow. It looked like Kevin Love definitely got him in the air. I don't know if it was officially a foul called. I thought it was because they stopped play, but we're going to see what the call is on that. But what a play by Ron Holland coming back the other way. Jazz take a timeout. So, yeah, it must have not been called a foul because the Jazz were able to call a timeout there. But what a play by Ron Holland going the other way. That's a huge spark the Pistons needed off the bench. Ron Holland blocked the three from Keontae George, stole it out of his hands, went coast to coast the other way, and slammed it home to cut the deficit back down to 7. That's a huge play from Ron Holland. Love to see it, man. Considering how bad last year's draft class was, Ron Holland at 5, honestly, was a solid pick. So, Pistons down 7, 5:29 left to play here in the first half. Appreciate you guys all tuning into the stream. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know in the chat. Like and subscribe if you guys are new. We're going to be doing as many Pistons basketball games as I can this year that don't fall on a Monday or a Tuesday. So yeah, we got the Jazz tonight. We got the Brooklyn Nets on Friday. We got the Sixers on Sunday. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun doing these. I think this is like my fourth or fifth Pistons game. And the season just started. So again, there's like 70 more of these games, plus the playoffs. So definitely looking forward to it. Pistons got a nice young core. Again, we're itching to get back Jaden Ivey healthy. We're hoping he can return in a couple weeks for the Pistons. He's been, having some injuries in the past. So we're hoping to get him back. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in February with what Trajan Langdon does at the trade deadline. I would love Malik Beasley back for the Pistons. He was a huge reason why we got into the playoffs, a big reason why we were able to create so much spacing on the floor for the Pistons because he was a direct threat from the three-point line every single time he touched the ball. But again, he's still got that ongoing investigation, so hopefully he can get cleared. But he's been saying on social media, if he can return, he's going to be a Piston, supposedly. So we'll see what happens with Malik Beasley. But I would love him back, personally. He would be a nice player that would probably immediately start for the Pistons or at least come off the bench. He came off the bench last year, but he was a solid player for us. So Markkanen goes to the bench for the Jazz. 6 minutes left to play here in the second quarter, or 5:20, I should say. Keontae George the basketball. Coming back off the commercial break, what a play by Ron Holland earlier. Duncan working on Svi Mykhailiuk. Mykhailiuk working on Duncan. Mykhailiuk goes to the rim, gets it to go. Svi Mykhailiuk is having himself a night, man. 18 points for Svi Mykhailiuk. 5 minutes left to play here in the first half. Cade Cunningham working on Svi. Cade's got to get involved. Duren. Kicked ball from Kevin Love is going to stay here with Detroit. Svi Mykhailiuk's 8th team in his career. He's got 18 points, 2 assists, leading scorer for the Utah Jazz. He's been carving up this Detroit defense so far. Ron Holland works inside. Cade working on Svi. Cade going to the rim. Tried to find the lob to Duren. It's going to be off the mark. It's going to be staying here, though, from Detroit. Knocked out of bounds by the Utah Jazz. Pistons down 9 in the second quarter. 4:40 left to play here in the first half. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Cade to inbound, inside to Beef Stew. Beef Stew trying to find Duncan for 3. Off the mark. And Svi Mykhailiuk with the rebound, come back the other way for the Utah Jazz. Pistons down 9, here come the Utah Jazz. Keontae George to full court. Kevin Love sets the screen. George working on Ron Holland. Kevin Love inside to Lauri Markkanen. Inside to Ace Bailey. Bailey working on Beef Stew. Good defense by Beef Stew, forcing a travel. Come back the other way on Filipowski. My bad, not Markkanen. 4:20 left to play here in the basketball game. Pistons down 9. Come back the other way. Great defense from Beef Stew. Jazz on a 15-5 run the last 5 minutes. Cade working on Filipowski. Inside to Beef Stew. Beef Stew gets it to go. Big bucket from Beef Stew. Pistons cut it back down to 7. Here come the Utah Jazz. Back the other way. Filipowski working on beef stew. Outside to Kevin Love. Love drives inside. Kevin Love tries a 2, and he's going to be fouled by Jalen Duren. And Kevin Love is going to be shooting a pair of free throws. Again, Cade is always looking first for his teammates. He's trying to find the open guy. If there's nobody open, then he'll take over and try to get a bucket. But that's what I love about Cade is he acts like a Jason Kidd old school traditional point guard where he works on the floor and tries to put his guys in the best situation possible before his ego takes over. And he doesn't really have an ego. He's a very selfless player. Where he tries to get his teammates involved as well. Kevin Love hits the first free throw. What's going on, Hashman? Appreciate you stopping in, dude. Yeah, a lot of basketball left to be played, but again, definitely a score shocker to start the first half. Kevin Love's second free throw on the way is up and in. Utah Jazz take a 50-41 lead here. Cade Cunningham back the other way, guarded by Zvi Mikhailu. Cade working on Zvi. Gets it back outside to Beef Stew. Beef Stew thought about a 3. Working inside in the post. Off the mark, Beef Stew tried to get his own board, but it was unsuccessful, and here come back the Utah Jazz the other way. Jazz. Working on Asar Thompson at the top of the key for Keontae George. George sets the screen for Markkanen. Markkanen rolls off. Deep 3, off the mark. Duncan Robinson with the basketball. What's going on, HDB? Appreciate you stopping in, dude. Cade Cunningham inside to Duren. Duren off the mark, but gets his own board. Flex is on the way back, and it's a 50-43 basketball game. If you guys are new to the stream, hit the like button. It helps me out a ton. It's free. Subscribe if you guys are new. Appreciate you tuning in. Keontae George misses. Come back the other way of the Pistons. Cade to full court. Lobs it inside to Duren for the slam. Pistons back down by 5. 3 minutes left to play here in the game. Jalen Duren, 10 points, 8 boards so far in the first half. A little run, man. It goes by so fast in the NBA. Keontae George for 3. Gets it to go over Asar. Tough shot from Keontae George, and the Jazz have an 8-point lead. Cade Cunningham back the other way. Trying to find Duren. Working inside on Markkanen. Beef Stew tries a 3. Beef Stew off the mark. Duren with the board, and Duren slams it home. What a way to work the glass for Jalen Duren. Gets Beef Stew's mess and slams it home. Keontae George with the basketball. Top of the key. In this game so far, HDB, or like overall in the season. Keontae George gets it back outside. Back behind the back pass to Kevin Love. Zvi Mikhailu off the rim, though. Here come the Pistons back the other way. Asar, top of the key. Working on Kevin Love. Beef Stew thought about a 3. Gets it back out to Cade. Cade fouled by Ace Bailey. Overall season, I think the Bulls. Chicago's been probably the biggest surprise so far this year. Yeah, they're the 1 seed right now in the East. They're 6-1. I'm surprised the Magic are 3-5 too. I thought the Magic would be a lot better, but again, it's still a long season. So, Thunder I expected, Lakers, Nuggets. Like, I'm not really surprised by anybody in the West. Maybe the Grizzlies. But the Bulls, I think, are probably my biggest surprise so far. Duncan Robinson working on Zvi Mikhailu. Duncan Robinson gets it back outside of Duren. Duren inside on Markkanen. Duren lost the handle. Here come the Jazz. Coming back the other way. Keontae George going the coast to coast, and he gets it to go for the Utah Jazz 55-47 game. Miami's up there, too, and the Magic need to figure them out. Yeah, Magic I like a lot. I think they're going to develop over the season, but the Magic are going to be a good team. Duren inside jump shot. How about Jalen Duren with an inside post-game shot from Duren? Very nicely done. What's going on, Scott? How you doing, dude? Good to see you. John Morant's going to be out of the league soon. Yeah, he had that, 1 year or 2 year hiatus where, he was a really good point guard. Beef Stew rejected by Zvi Mikhailu. Here come the Pistons back the other way. Ron Holland with the basketball inside to Duren. Duren with the slam. Here come the Pistons, 55-51 back the other way. Ron Holland getting it going both sides, offensively and defensively. Duren has 16 points, 9 boards in the first half. 50 seconds left to play here in the first half. Keontae George gets it back outside to Markkanen. Markkanen inside to Nurkic. Nurkic cross corner pass to Mikhailo. Mikhailo inside to Markkanen. Blocked by Beef Stew again. Here come the Pistons back the other way. 38 seconds left to play here in the first half. Pistons on a 10-5 run here. Asar working on Nurkic. Back outside to Duren. Duren inside for the slam. And the Pistons have a 2-point deficit coming back down from 13. They get it back down to 2. 12-5 run here for the Pistons. Yeah, Grizzlies don't have Zach Edey either. That's a big loss for them body-wise. John Morant could get traded. That'd be a crazy name, but I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, they got Jaren Jackson over there. Grizzlies, I like their coaching staff. But yeah, they're still an interesting team to be played with in the West. But Ja did have some pretty big moments in the playoffs a couple years ago. But again, his antics off the floor have been a problem. So yeah, it's hard to say like a team for Morant. Maybe the Heat. I think John Morant to the Heat could be interesting. They don't really have a point guard over there, so that could be an interesting spot for John Morant. Blocked by Asar. 5 seconds left to play. Ace Bailey for the jump shot off the mark. Duren and Asar takes a half-court shot. It's going to be off the mark here. And Pistons going a 12-5 to run to end the half. Pistons down 2 here, and we got a halftime coming up. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. What's going on, everybody? Appreciate you guys all being here. Pistons down 2 at the half. Again, the Jazz, solid, young core. Again, the Pistons were a 10.5-point favorite to start this game, and I was not buying that line at all. Jazz have some players. Like Keontae George is no scrub. Markkanen's no scrub. Ace Bailey, a top 5 pick in the draft. I did not expect Mikhailo to come out this hot on fire from 3. So this is going to be a competitive basketball game through and through for the Pistons here. Not the Warriors. Yeah, I think you guys are good with Steph Curry. Yeah, Warriors have an well, that was a voice crack. Warriors have an interesting team. I like Jimmy Butler a lot as a player. It'd be cool if he got a ring. But Steph's approaching the end of his career. But, yeah, the Warriors, I expect them to be like a 6, 7, or an 8 seed this year in the West. They obviously got, Curry leading the way. Kuminga's nice. Draymond, Spartan Dog. I've always loved Draymond Green. Brandon, I can't pronounce his last name. Podziemski. He's been an interesting player for you guys. Buddy Hield, another guy that could be interesting for the Warriors. So it's such a long season, so it's hard to really pinpoint exactly like who's going to front run it, especially in the East. Like the East, I think is so up in the open this year. Like Tatum's going to be done for a while for the Celtics. Halliburton's going to be done for a while. You got basically teams like Milwaukee, New York, Philly, if Embiid stays healthy, maybe. The Cavs, I'm not worried about the Cavs. I think the Magic, they're not off to a good start, but the Magic, I think, are going to be in contention for the East. But I think the Thunder are going to run the West again. They're just too good, well coached, too well rounded offensively. It's crazy that the Thunder literally won the title last year, and they have, I think, 2 first-round picks this year. That's how insane their GM is. The Celtics are losing to the Wizards right now. Wow. Podziemski. Yeah, I've never been able to pronounce his name right, but I think you guys are a good team. Yeah, Cavs should be nice. Cavs are really good. They got Mobley, who's won the Defensive Player of the Year award. Donovan Mitchell in the playoffs is super underrated. So I think the Cavs will be all right. But yeah, the West is more of a coin flip. It's like the Thunder, and then it's like 3 or 4 teams like the Nuggets. The Lakers maybe could do something. I don't know. You see how good Luka's playing with the Lakers right now, and LeBron's off the floor. So that's going to be his team. I cannot freaking believe the Mavericks did that still. Wembanyama might win MVP this year. He is playing out of his freaking mind. He's literally a 7'4" point guard, and he can shoot the 3. He has the handle. He can get any shot on the floor. Victor legit might win MVP this year. So yeah, Cavs healthy could be really good. Yeah, they're a little bit injured right now. But yeah, the West is so hard to predict. But yeah, the Thunder winning last year was cool. I mean, like, I was rooting for the Pacers. I think the Pacers would have been a much more fun story. Halliburton was getting crazy disrespected last year. Nobody predicted the Pacers to go to the finals last year. They made the finals. Unfortunately, Halliburton got hurt, and that was all she wrote. But, so I like the Pistons, though. Like, it's crazy. The Pistons went on a 26-game losing streak 2 years ago. I saw it with my own eyes. We were one of the worst teams ever, historically bad. And JD Bickerstaff comes in and he completely changes the culture. But yeah, we put shooters around Cade. And magically, when you put shooters around your best player, and look what happens. You know what I mean? So, yeah, Katie and Russ, I cannot believe that, because the Warriors knocked out the Thunder in the Western Conference Finals or the Western Conference Semifinals, but one of the two, and then, Katie goes to the Warriors, and then they win the title the next year. Wemby grew taller since that's crazy. He keeps getting bigger and bigger. Yeah, Wembanyama is impossible to defend. Like, he can shoot the three, he has the handle, he can post up on anybody. There's nobody that can really guard him. The only disadvantage that he has is he's skinny, but it's his third year in the NBA. Like, he's going to keep getting stronger. So, yeah, I would have loved it if the Pistons won the lottery that year for Victor to go with Cade, but yeah, he went to the Spurs. So, the lottery is very bad. And here's the problem, though. The NBA is so star-oriented. It's arguably, I think it is the most star-oriented league out of all the four sports. So I understand why you have the lottery system, because it's supposed to prevent teams from tanking to get the number one pick. Whereas, like, the NFL, the worst team in the NFL gets the number one pick, unless they trade the pick or for whatever reason. But the Mavericks, you cannot look me in the face and tell me that something fishy was going on with that. Like, how on God's green earth did the Mavericks get Cooper Flag? There is no way that is possible. Like, they had that whole thing with Luka. They traded Luka. The world freaked out. And then they got a gift from God, and here's Cooper Flag. Like, there's just no way, dude. And then you had the whole thing with years ago with, like, the bent corner, when they used to have those giant envelopes and they spun the ball and they pulled the envelope out of the ball. There's something totally fishy going on, dude, but I don't really know how you would fix it, because, like, the Pistons, for example, they won the lottery. The ping pong ball fell their way and we got Cade Cunningham. So I don't know I don't know what the alternative is. What's the solution to make it more fair? I mean, I want to see the draft results happen with my own eyes, not behind the scenes, behind a curtain with all these ping pong balls flying around. It's just very unfortunate, because, like, the Wizards got screwed, the Blazers got screwed. The teams that, like, the Pelicans, like, that, if you have a top three bad record, those three teams should fight it out for the number one overall pick. Not the Mavericks, who made the play-in game last year. If you're a playoff team or a play-in team, you should have zero chance to win the lottery. There's no reason why they should be in that conversation. So the whole thing is extremely suspicious, and I don't really know what the alternative is for a lottery resolution in the future, but it is what it is. It's been going on forever now. Even LeBron and Shaq have chimed in, and they said that's very fishy. I mean, come on. Like, LeBron from Ohio, Cavs get the number one overall pick. Like, you're telling me, like, that wasn't scripted? Come on. And even Shaq in a couple interviews said that he was having some messages with David Stern, and David Stern's like, where do you want to go? You want to go someplace warm or someplace cold? And he's like, oh, I like the warm weather. He goes, okay. And then the Magic somehow get the number one overall pick, and then the Magic get Shaq. It's like, come on. It's, it's so stupid. Let's have Trevor use a claw machine to decide draft order instead. Right, there you go. That'd be kind of fun. A claw machine full of, like, ping pong balls or mystery boxes, and it picks up a random team. That'd be kind of fun. But Pistons down 2 at the half. This could come down to a final shot. I think the Jazz are going to give Pistons problems in the second half here. K's got to take over. Duren's playing great right now. He's got 18 points and 10 boards right now. Duren is going to be a beast, dude. I was upset with him last year because he couldn't play defense to save his life, but he's got the lob game going on with K. I think K's going to make Duren elite. He's getting better on defense right now, so he's been a beast so far for the Stones. Peace out, Scott. Take care, dude. Thanks for stopping in, Scott. Yeah, so it's the NBA. Like, I like the Pistons. Obviously, they're my team, but it's hard to watch because you take a look at, like, the 80s and 90s NBA where it was way more physical, especially the All-Star game. Like, guys actually tried. There was pride, and now it's like a giant shooting 3-point contest every game essentially. So it's tough. What's up, Legal Quack? How you doing, dude? Who do you got for your fantasy team? I misread your thought. But yeah, so we'll see. The NBA, like, it did get a lot of ratings last year in the finals. Like, the Thunder and Pacers, I think, was like one of the most watched finals ever. It was definitely up there in terms of ratings. So, Adam Silver's trying his best. It is a weird sport, though, because it is so starly oriented driven, where you have to win the lottery and you have to nail on your draft picks, because if you don't, you're screwed forever. I mean, you take a look at, like, the last 15, 20 championship teams, and almost every single one of them had a top 5 to 10 player in the NBA. So it's tough to say. What's up, PA? Draft format, do 10 picks of 3, bottom 3 teams from the previous year get the 1, 2, and 3 pick in the second round. The next 3 better teams get 4, 5, and 6. Yeah, like, and I agree. Like, the 3 worst records, they should be fighting for the lottery. Like, the fact that the Pistons, for example, 3 years in a row, I think 3 years in a row. It was 3 years in a row. We had, like, the worst record in basketball, and we get the 5th pick 3 straight years in a row. I mean, it ended up working out, like, Asar, Ivy, and Ron Holland, but it still is a problem. Oh, Nurkic, gotcha. Trade him for about the news before Walker. Oh, okay, gotcha. Thanks for stopping in, Legal Quack. Right, and that's just it. Like, I don't know what the fix of the system is. Like, you can't just throw... Like, I mean, Mark Cuban with the Mavericks, they were caught doing that, where, like, they were benching their star players to try to get into the lottery. That was proven a couple of years ago that they were accused of that, and that was actually true. So, I don't know what the solution is, but you can't have basically the Mavericks win the lottery last year, like that. It just can't. It's just too story Hollywood written for that to happen. There's something fishy going on, and somebody's handing a check under the table or something, because it's not right now. So we'll see. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. What's going on, everybody? Start of the second half coming up here shortly. Pistons down 2 at the halftime break right now. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know in the chat. We're just kind of spewing on about nonsense until halftime starts, or third quarter starts. Yeah, so it's tough. Like, you get the NFL where it's, okay, worst team wins the lottery or wins the draft. They get the number 1 overall pick. And then you got, like, baseball, hockey, and basketball where they're all lottery systems, and it's just tough because, like, a coach can't go to a team and say, all right, guys, like, the season's over. We're like 20 and 50 on the season. We got 12 games left, and let's just chill out for a bit so we can get a better draft pick. Like, there's no culture established. You can't just go to a player and say, I want you to intentionally play bad to lose the game so we can get a better pick. You just can't. That doesn't build any identity whatsoever for a winning culture moving forward. So, but it's been proven in the past where that's happened on multiple occasions where the coach will be, put in a situation where he's looking around the league and he's noticing, okay, if we get the top 5, worst record and we have a chance to win the number 1 pick, it's a better chance because it's a lottery system. And then, especially if there's like a generational kid in the draft, like, like a Zion, or a, remember Ben Simmons? Ben Simmons, everybody thought he was going to be like the next big thing, and he just didn't really work out, unfortunately. But, a lot of it depends on the draft class too. Like, every year's different. Like, last year's draft class was horrific. Absolutely horrible. Pistons got super lucky when they got the number 1 overall pick. There was a legit generational guy in Cade. Not many people know it yet because of how bad the Pistons have been the past several years he's been in the NBA, except for last year where they finally started to realize, okay, this kid's actually pretty good. So, anyways, start of the third quarter, coming back from halftime, Pistons down 2. Timeouts. Do the timeouts reset, or are they still the same? Actually, that's a good question. I don't know, honestly. I think they... Do they reset? They don't reset. Okay, so take away 2 for both. Okay, take away 2. Okay, there we go. Perfect. All right, so here we go. Start of the second half here. Nurkic back the other way for the Utah Jazz. To full court, guarded by Duren. Nurkic gives it up to Keontae George, guarded by Ausar. Ausar working the three-point line on George. George trying to make Ausar miss. He can't make him miss. Hendricks sets a screen for Keontae George. Back to Nurkic. Nurkic helps him out. Keontae George for 3. Off the mark. Boarded by Isaiah Stewart. Isaiah Stewart coming the other way to Cade. Cade to full court. Cade working inside. Goes to the rim. Up and in. Count the bucket and the foul. Cade Cunningham going to the free throw line and try to get the 3-point play. What's up, Will? How you doing? There we go. There's Cade. What I love about Cade, too, is he kind of controls the tempo of the game. And usually, most of the time, he's a second-half player where he takes over in the third and the fourth quarter. Just trying to get a feel for like what the defense is giving him, and then he kind of adjusts according to the game. He's just such a good player. 56-55. Cade hits the free throw. Pistons take the lead. 11 minutes left to play here in the third quarter. Keontae George guarded by Ausar at the top of the key. Lauri Markkanen sets a screen. Keontae George back to Lauri. Lauri working on beef stew. Ausar swiped it, but Lauri got it back here. Zvi at the top of the key. Zvi Mikhailo for 3. Off the mark. Rebounded by Nurkic. Back outside to Keontae George. Keontae George working inside on Duren. George outside to Hendricks. Cade thought about blocking it. Gets it back. Hendricks off the mark. Still ball in the air. Finally goes back to Cade. Cade come back the other way. Cade to full court. Cade all the way to the rim. Duren cleans up his mess. Duren tries to get it back to Cade. Can't find him. Outside of Duncan Robinson for the 3-point line. Beef Stew checks in. Gives it back to Beef Stew. Beef Stew for the monster slam. Posterizes Hendricks. And Beef Stew with a huge dunk. Coming back down the other way for the Jazz. Beef Stew all over the Jazz. 11-0 run for the Pistons. Keontae George back the other way. And that stops the deficit. 58-57 for the Pistons. Cade Cunningham back the other way. 10 minutes left to play here in the third quarter. Cade guarded by Keontae George. Back to Duncan Robinson. Zvi Mikhailo. He's been the hot hand for the Jazz all night. Cade working on Markkanen inside to Duren. Duren inside. Blocked by Markkanen. Or excuse me, Nurkic. And it's going to stay here though with the Pistons. Nurkic wants him to challenge that and take another look. That was awesome. Svi Mikhailo coming back the other way. Pistons up 1 with 9:50 left to play here in the third quarter. Nurkic with the basketball, guarded by Duren. Works outside to Keontae George, guarded by Cade. Keontae George back to Mikhailo. Mikhailo, spot up 3. Off the mark, boarded by Asar. Gets it back to Cade. Cade Cunningham back the other way. Cade with the basketball. Back to Asar. Asar inside, working on Markkanen. Asar posting up Markkanen. Can't get it to go. Inside of Duren. Duren tries it. Gets fouled. And I believe Duren's going to be going to the free throw line. I'm not sure if it was on the floor or if it was in the act of shooting. It kind of looked like it was before the shot. Let's see if they give him some free throws or not. Yeah, Duren's going to be going to the free throw line. So Pistons up 1. 9 minutes left to play here in the third quarter. Jalen Duren, Isaiah Stewart, Asar, Ron Holland, all drafted guys, by the way, have been playing great this game so far. Duren gets the first free throw to go. 59-57 Pistons. 9:25 left to play here in the third quarter. If you guys are new to the stream, hit the like button, subscribe. Appreciate you guys all tuning in, man. What's going on, everyone? Duren's second free throw on the way is up and in. Duren hits both free throws. Pistons take a 60-57 lead here. 9 minutes left to play here in the third quarter. Keontae George working on Asar Thompson. Top of the key, works outside, back to Mikhailo. Mikhailo inside to Nurkic, guarded by Duren. Nurkic trying to make Duren miss. Nurkic working on Duren. And it's going to be fouled. Loose ball against the ball. I think on Asar, working on Markkanen. Yeah, they're going to call out on Asar Thompson. Working across the ball. So Jazz looking to inbound the basketball inside to Nurkic, back to Keontae George. Markkanen thought about a 3, guarded by Beef Stew. Markkanen works inside against Beef Stew. Nice defense from Beef Stew. Outside to Mikhailo. Mikhailo drives. No good, but he's going to get fouled. He's going to go to the free throw line. So Mikhailo has been the leading scorer so far for the Jazz. He has an opportunity to put 2 more on the board here for the Jazz. Nice. Mikhailo's second free throw on the way is up and in. 59-60. Mikhailo coming back the other way, working on Beef Stew. Keontae George guarded by Duncan at the top of the key. 8:30 left to play here in the third quarter. George working on Duncan, gets it off the rim. Duren with the board. Cade Cunningham back the other way. Cade works inside. Cade. Asar cleans up Cade's mess, and Asar slams it home inside, and the Pistons have a 3-point lead with 8 minutes left to play here. Cade put up a shot, was off the rim, and Asar boarded it. And Hendricks back the other way for the Jazz. Duncan Robinson working on Keontae George. Off the rim. Good job by Duncan Robinson. Good defense. Here come back the Pistons the other way. Cade working outside. Gets it back to Duncan. Duncan, no work there. Back to Cade for the top of the key. Cade trying to find his man. Works inside against Hendricks. Beef Stew for 3. Off the mark. And it's going to be a loose ball foul called against Asar. Coming back the other way. 7:30 left to play here in the third quarter. Mikhailo with the basketball. Outside to Markkanen. Markkanen for 3. No good. Asar with the basketball, coming back the other way for the Pistons. Asar Gets it outside to Cade. Cade working on Hendricks. Cade back outside to Beef Stew. Tries another three. Off the mark. Marking it with the basketball and the rebound. Pistons up 3 with 7 minutes left to play here in the third quarter. Markkanen working on Cade. Markkanen back to Nurkic, who tries a three. Off the mark. Duran with the rebound. And it's going to be a timeout for the Pistons. So Pistons come out the gate swinging, firing away here. Nice start to the second half, and they regain possession, 62-59. Not bad so far from the Pistons. A little bit of a sloppy first half here, but Pistons are working nicely, getting their groove back in the second half here. Duran has 20 points and 14 boards so far in this game. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know in the chat. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. Like the live stream if you guys haven't done so yet. Helps out the show. It's free. Subscribe if you guys are new. We're going to be trying to breaking down every single Pistons game this year, or as many as we can so far. This is like our 4th or 5th one that we've done, so appreciate you guys all tuning in. 62-59 game. Pistons use a timeout here. They got 4 left to go in the game. I thought the timeouts reset at halftime. I guess they don't. So you get 7 timeouts per game per team. So you got to use those timeouts wisely. So, I mean, you can't use more than 2 a quarter, basically. So you got to use those effectively. But, again, Utah Jazz, they got a solid team here. Yeah, Duran, 20 and 14, 2 assists. Keontae George, 13 points. Mikhailo with 20 points. He's been the leading scorer for the Utah Jazz so far. But you'll have to see it so far from the Pistons. Again, super young team, only going to improve. Trajan Langdon, it's kind of funny, like, Troy Weaver essentially built this team. I mean, Jaden Ivey, Cade Cunningham, Beef Stew, Jalen Duran, right? Like, that's a big part of our young core. And then Troy Weaver leaves. I think he's on the Wizards front office now. And, you know, Trajan Langdon comes in. He's been doing a terrific job. You know, he pays Tobias, which that was a solid move. You know, drafts Ron Holland, Chaz Lanier. So we'll see if Karis LeVert works out. Cade inside gets it to go. 5-point lead for the Pistons. 64-59. Utah Jazz working the other way. Cade working on Ace Bailey. Ace Bailey inside gets it to go. 64-61. Nice pull-up jump shot from Ace Bailey to cut the deficit down to 3. Pistons, Cade Cunningham back the other way. Ace Bailey is 7 points in this game so far. Cade inside to Asar, trying to get it to go. Gets fouled. He's going to be going to the free throw line. Nice job by Asar drawing the foul. Oh, thanks, PA. 64-61. Asar gets the first free throw to fall. 65-61. Second free throw on the way here for Asar Thompson. Asar off the mark. Duncan Robinson, though, gets the rebound, gets it back outside to Asar. And that's going to be going the other way. Harkless takes the charge against Asar, I believe. Oh, blocking foul. Never mind. It's going to be staying here for the Pistons. So Pistons have an opportunity for a 4-point possession here if they get a 3 here. 65-61 Pistons, 6 minutes left to play. Cade Cunningham works inside against Kevin Love. Cade Cunningham, pull-up jump shot, good to go. Cade Cunningham, so smooth and effortless with the basketball. I swear, it looks like he moves in slow motion, dude. 65-61, excuse me, my bad. There we go. Ace Bailey off the mark. Boarded by Jalen Duren. Asar at the basketball, coming back the other way. Asar works inside, gets it to go. Nice drive by Asar Thompson. 67-61 Pistons, 5:30 left to play here in the third quarter. Asar working on Keontae George. Keontae George drives at Asar. Asar tried to block it. He's going to get a foul call, though. Keontae George got him across the face, and Keontae George is down. Looked like he got a hit across the face when trying to block the shot from Asar. Yeah, Asar kind of got him in the air, and his ankle kind of caught Keontae George trying to go up with the basketball. Hopefully Keontae George is all right. No ill intent was made there. That was just kind of a freak foul from Asar there. So Asar sits down with 3 or 4 fouls, I believe. Pistons have a 6-point lead. Approaching the end of the third quarter here. 5 minutes left to play. 69-61. I knew that basket counted. They just didn't update the scoreboard on the broadcast, so I just went with the broadcast. But yeah, so the Pistons have an 8-point lead. My bad. .523 left to play here in the third quarter. Asar Thompson, he's going to get 56 touches a game, they're saying on the broadcast. That's actually a lot of usage from Asar. Most he's ever had on the team so far this year. Kevin Love at the top of the 3. Back to Markkanen for 3. Off the rim. Ron Holland at the basketball. Boards it to Cade. Cade gets it back to Duncan Robinson. Duncan for 3. Off the rim. Kevin Love at the basketball. Back the other way to Markkanen. Pistons up 8 with 5 minutes left to play. Markkanen drives baseline. Gets it back outside to Kevin Love. Kevin Love thought about a 3. He's going to be fouled by Duncan Robinson. And Kevin Love's going to be shooting a pair of free throws here. Pistons are up 8 with 5 minutes left to play here. Kind of looked like Kevin Love almost tripped there. I don't know if Duncan Robinson really got him. Yeah, he kind of tripped on his own foot, but it was off of Duncan, so they're going to call it a foul on Duncan. A little controversial right there, but Kevin Love's going to be shooting some free throws here. Kevin Love first free throw up and in. 69-62, Javonte Green checks into the basketball game for the Pistons. For Duncan Robinson. Duncan Robinson takes a breather. JB Bickerstaff is mocking Kevin Love on the opposite side. JB Bickerstaff coached Kevin Love with the Cavs a couple years ago. Kevin Love off the mark. Back to Kevin Love, though. Gets his own board. Clayton, top of the key. Spot up 3. Good. 69-65, and the Pistons take a timeout. Pistons up 4, going to another commercial break here. Here come the Utah Jazz, though. This is going to be a good competitive game back and forth. So coming back down the other way, Pistons up 4. Utah Jazz are going to keep this an interesting game, though, through and through here. Approaching the end of the third quarter. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. Like and subscribe if you guys are new. We're going to be trying and breaking down every single Pistons game this year. We're on Facebook, as well as Twitch, of course, YouTube. And, yeah, we got the Pistons right now. Tigers, you know, I'm a big Detroit guy, so Tigers, they fell in the ALDS. Mariners 15-inning baseball game. I did a play-by-play for that one. That was rough. Lions here and there. And then the Red Wings hockey, play-by-play for that is crazy. Those guys need a raise, dude. Trying to do a play-by-play game for a hockey game is insane. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on in a hockey game for that. So Pistons, we're going to see if they can close this one out here. Utah Jazz aren't making it easy, though. Pistons, the spread was 10.5 to start this game. So they're going to see if they can close this down the stretch here. But again, the Jazz have a nice young core. Markkanen, Keontae George, Mikhailo, I mean, he's been shooting the lights out for the Jazz. Ace Bailey, nice young intriguing prospect. He's going to get better over time. Utah Jazz, though, I remember like when they were like consistently in the playoffs, that like the Mike Conley teams with Rudy Gobert, those teams were good. Of course, Donovan Mitchell, was with the Utah Jazz before he got traded to Cleveland. So yeah, they've had some good basketball over the years. Now, obviously, Karl Malone, John Stockton, Hall of Famers. So Jazz have had good players throughout their team. $69-65 coming back from a commercial break here. Pistons up 4. Pistons have the basketball. Coming back from their timeout break. Here come the Pistons back the other way. We got Ron Holland, Cade, Duren, Javonte Green, and Karis LeVert on the floor for the Pistons. Pistons get it to Jalen Duren. Duren back to Cade. Cade working inside. Cade tries to get to the hole. Cade off the rim, boarded by Filipowski. Filipowski back the other way for the Jazz. Here come the Jazz and Clayton Jr. working on Duren here. Clayton Jr. back outside. Tries a 3, thought about it, works inside on Javonte Green, back outside to Burks. Burks, Kevin Love, corner 3, off the mark. Ace Bailey with the board. Ace Bailey goes back up and in. 2-point basketball game, 69-67. Both teams in the bonus with 4 minutes left to play here. Karis LeVert. He turns it over. Nice defense from Walter Clayton. And the Jazz are coming back the other way. 4 minutes left to play here. 2-point basketball game. Anybody can win this game right now. Jazz are giving the Pistons some problems right now. So Clayton coming back the other way. Guarded by Karis LeVert. Gives it up to Filipowski. Back to Kevin Love. Clayton inside to Filipowski. Filipowski off the rim. Boarded by Duren. Coming back the other way is Javonte Green. Javonte Green the other way. No 3 on the way. No good. Back the other way for the Jazz. Ace Bailey gives it back to Filipowski for 3. Off the rim. Boarded by Duren again. That's like his 16th board in this game. Cade Cunningham back the other way with the basketball. Duren sets the screen for Cade. Cade inside to Duren. Duren with the slam. That pick and roll action between Cade and Duren has been lethal so far this year. They cannot guard that. That is unguardable. Pistons have 44 points in the paint in this game. Ace Bailey driving to the rim. Ace Bailey blocked by Duren, coming back the other way. Cade to full court. Cade running the fast break. Cade working inside. No foul call. A foul is going to be coming back the other way for the Jazz. Clay with the basketball, gives it back to Ace Bailey. Bailey. Harkless working on Ron Holland. Love with the basketball back to Filipowski. Filipowski, it's going to go off Filipowski's hand. It's going to go to Detroit basketball, come back the other way. 71-67 basketball game, approaching the end of the third quarter here. So Cade checks back out of the game. Asar, LeVert, Duren, Ron Holland, Javonte Green. Asar at the basketball. Working on Harkless. Asar goes to the rim. Gets it to go off the glass. 73-67 Pistons. 2 minutes left to play here in the second quarter. Clayton with the basketball. Guarded by Ron Holland. Kevin Love. Spot up 3. On the way. No good. Boarded by Asar. Ron Holland come back the other way with the basketball. Ron Holland goes straight to the rim. Ron Holland drives, scores it. 75-67, and the Jazz have to take a timeout to stop this run from the Pistons. Pistons up 8 with about 1:54 left to play here in the third quarter. We got a commercial break coming up once again. Pistons flying back and forth down the floor, and Jalen Duren has been a monster so far for the Pistons this year. That pick and roll combo has been insane. Appreciate you guys all tuning in, man. Like and subscribe if you guys are new. 75-67. Commercial break. Pistons got the Nets on Friday, then they got the Sixers on Sunday. Going to be doing both of those games for you guys. Cade with 10 points, 7 assists. Duren has 22 and 17. Duren's 3 boards away from a 2020 game. Asar, Ron Holland, the 9-to-5 combo, man. People are saying on social media, 9-to-5, open for business on the floor. Beef Stew checks into the game along with Karis LeVert. Approaching the end of the third quarter here. Utah Jazz come back the other way. Pistons up 8. Walter Clayton to full court. Guarded by Javonte Green. Clayton at the top of the key. Gets it back outside to Nurkic. Clayton drives. Floater off the mark. Boarded by Javonte Green. Karis LeVert the other way. LeVert gets it back to Javonte Green. Javonte Green for 3. Off the mark. Ace Bailey with the board, but he lost out of bounds. Going to stay here with the Pistons. All right. 1:28 left to play here in the third quarter. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. Like and subscribe if you guys are new. Helps me out. Svi Mykhailiuk checks into the game for the Utah Jazz. Ron Holland backs inside to Karis LeVert. LeVert trying to work on Clayton. LeVert fouled off the rim. LeVert's going to be going to the free throw line, though. Appreciate you guys all tuning in, watching. You guys are fantastic. LeVert, first free throw on the way, is off the rim. Still an 8-point basketball game. Anthony George checks into the game, replacing Walter Clayton. 1:23 left to play here in the third quarter. Karis LeVert. Off the mark, misses both free throws here. Nurkic with the rebound. 75-67 game. Mykhailiuk coming back the other way for the Jazz. Gets it back to Nurkic. Nurkic working on Beef Stew. Back to Markkanen. Markkanen goes at Beef Stew. Gets it inside to Mykhailiuk. Mykhailiuk back to Markkanen, and he loses it out of bounds. It's going to be a turnover. Great defense from Beef Stew. 1:05 left to play here in the third quarter. Jazz cannot make a bucket. They haven't had a bucket in the last 3 minutes. Asar working on Svi Mykhailiuk coming to full court. Asar trying to set things up here. Beef Stew with a down screen working on Ron Holland. Asar going at Ace Bailey. Asar draws the foul on Ace Bailey, and Asar's going to go to the free throw line. Appreciate you guys all tuning in, man. Like and subscribe if you guys are new. We're going to be doing a ton of these Pistons play-by-play games this year. 50 seconds left to play here in the third quarter. 75-67 basketball game. Ausar at the free throw line. Ausar, first free throw attempt on the way is up and in. 76-67 game. Tobias out the past couple games with an injury. He hopefully should be back Friday. Ausar, second free throw on the way. Off the mark. But the Pistons have been adjusting well without Tobias on the floor. You know, Beef Stew's putting together productive minutes. J.D. Bickerstaff's had to use some different creative rotations without him. Ausar working on. Keontae George back to Markkanen for three. Off the mark. It's going to be a loose ball foul going on the Pistons, I believe, on Beef Stew. Yeah, it's going to be called on Isaiah Stewart here. Jazz are in the bonus, same as the Pistons, so Nurkic are going to go to the free throw line. Nurkic to the free throw line. Pistons up by 9. 30 seconds left to play here in the third quarter. Nurkic, 2 points, but he has 14 boards. Make that 3 points. So he hasn't been a scorer, but he's been nice on the glass for the Jazz tonight. 76-68 basketball game. 34 seconds to play here. Nurkic, up and in. Low-scoring game here. 76-69 going into the fourth quarter. Karis LeVert working on Svi Mykhailiuk. Kind of waiting for the final shot here. Taking his time at the top of the key. JB's trying to set up the offense on the sideline. Karis LeVert going to the rim. Karis LeVert spot up jump shot off the rim. Ausar tried to fly in for the rebound. That's off the mark. And Markkanen tried to catch it from Nurkic, but it's going to be turned over back to the Pistons where they can really now get the final shot of the third quarter. 10 seconds left to play here in the third quarter. Pistons up 7 with the ball. Ausar nearly hit his head on the rim trying to get that board. That is insane. LeVert inbounds. Cade checks into the basketball game. 10 seconds left. Beef Stew sets the screen. Cade working on Markkanen. Cade going to work. Cade putting on a show. Step back. Good to go. That's Mr. Cade Cunningham right in Lauri Markkanen's face. 78-69. We're going to the fourth quarter. Cade, Icewood, Cunningham putting it on his back. Checks into the game. Hits a step back jump shot. And the Pistons have a 9-point lead heading to the fourth quarter. Another commercial break on the way for you guys coming up here. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know in the chat. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. We're going to be doing the Thursday night football game tomorrow, guys, as well. We got, I think, Raiders and Broncos. That should be an interesting game. So looking forward to that as well. But yeah, Pistons, they got the Nets on Friday, Sixers on Sunday, and they got the Wizards at home next week, next Monday. And then Bulls, Sixers again for cup play next Friday. So, appreciate you guys all tuning in. Thanks for being here, everybody. Hopefully you guys are having a great day. (78-69) Pistons up by 9 going into the fourth quarter. What's up, Kenny? How you doing? Good to see you. What's going on, dude? Did you guys have a good show, Kenny? If you guys are new here, hit the like button, subscribe. What's going on? We're on Facebook as well as Twitch and YouTube. Appreciate you guys all tuning in, guys. What's going on, everybody? We're going to be doing a lot more of these Pistons basketball games this year. Pistons got a nice young squad, man. You know, listen, if they stay healthy, we get Jaden Ivey back. I don't see why there's any reason why we can't be a top 5 seed in the East this year. So, yeah, Ivey is... If we can play this well without Ivey, which we did last year, but Ivey can't hurt us either. So, Looking to get him back soon. Hopefully in a couple weeks before Thanksgiving. That's the ideal assumption that the medical staff is reporting online. But he had that knee surgery before the season started. He was expected to be back healthy, but he's going to be sidelined for a couple more weeks just to be extra precautious. But Ivy and Duren both playing in contract years. So I would imagine we're going to probably pay Duren soon. And probably Ivy, and then Asar eventually a couple years from now. Yeah, Walker Kessler, that's a big loss for the Jazz. So, unfortunately, he's going to be out a while for the Utah Jazz. Yeah, they're going to be an interesting team to reckon with in the East this year. Cade, top of the key, guarded by Keontae George. Back outside Javonte Green. Gets it to Karis LeVert. Karis LeVert outside to Ron Holland, working on Lauri Markkanen. Inside to Javonte Green. Excuse me, it's Paul Reed. Paul Reed. That's going to be an offensive foul called on Paul Reed. And it's going to be back to the Utah Jazz basketball. A lot of ball movement going on, but it couldn't execute the final shot there. So 11:30 to play here in the fourth quarter. Just kicked it off. Keontae George to full court here. Pistons up by 9. It's still anybody's game right now. Markkanen, top of the key, guarded by Paul Reed. Markkanen working on Paul Reed. He's going to be fouled. It looks like Javonte Green got him on the elbow. And Markkanen's going to be going to the free throw line to shoot a pair of free throws. Still anybody's game here. Appreciate you guys all being here. What's going on, everyone? Let me know who's here in the chat. Hope you guys are having a great Wednesday night. 11:28 left to play here in the fourth quarter. First free throw on the way from Markkanen. Up and in. 78-70 basketball game. This is a low-scoring game. A lot of defense being played in this game. Markkanen, second free throw up and in. 78-71. Cade Cunningham back the other way with the basketball. Cade to full court. Cade, spot up 3. On the way. Off the rim. Boarded by Javonte Green. Cade thought about another 3. Works outside. Back to Javonte. Cade working with the basketball. Cade gets it back outside to Karis LeVert. Karis LeVert for 3. Off the mark. Boarded by Keontae George. Here come the Jazz. 11 minutes left to play here. Jazz down by 7. Keontae George working on Cade. Double teams him. And turns it over. Nice double team from Paul Reed and Cade Cunningham. Ball comes off of Keontae George and the Jazz turn it over. But it looks like the Jazz are going to challenge this call here. George claims it was last touched by the Pistons. Let's see if he's right here. Showing the replay right now. Yeah, that goes off of Paul Reed's left sneaker. That's going to be Utah Jazz's ball. Yeah, that's clearly off Paul Reed's left foot, and it's going to be Utah Jazz basketball, so it's going to stay here. 10:55 left to play here in the fourth quarter. Pistons up 7. Got another commercial break up for you guys as well. Another ad, right? Yeah, they just showed the replay. That ball is clearly off of Paul Reed's foot, so it's going to stay with Utah. Keontae George had a case, and he was right. Who's the Piston that needs to take the next step this year to be dangerous? So Jalen Duren's been playing great. He was a guy that had to improve defensively. He's been a monster on the glass. Him and Cade, the pick and roll action together has been very solid this year. Duren had like a career high in points in Mexico on Saturday. Asar Thompson, he's still working on his jump shot. If Asar Thompson can get a jump shot together, Asar Thompson's going to be a problem for a lot of teams in the NBA this year. He's already an elite defender. He's got elite athleticism. All he's missing is a jump shot. If he can find that, Asar is going to be a big piece of this offense. But yeah, I mean, Jaden Ivey, we're still waiting to get him back. He's part of our core. Took him at pick 5 a couple years ago. So we're waiting to see what Ivey can do here for the Pistons. Just an electric spark that can shoot threes. Him and Cade still kind of have to learn to work together because sometimes this is Cade Cunningham's team, but sometimes, Ivy played point guard at Purdue, and he's still kind of learning to be a shooting guard. Because when him and Cade are on the floor together, sometimes they don't really coexist well together. Because Cade can run the show, it's Cade's team, but sometimes Ivy runs the show if, Cade goes to the bench. But if they're both on the floor, it can sometimes cause havoc at certain situations. But yeah, Ivy getting back. He's still a dangerous piece for us. Had a couple game winners last year for the Pistons. We'll see what happens with Duncan Robinson, Karis LeVert. I would love to get Malik Beasley back on this team. So we'll see. The Jazz are going to challenge this. They're going to win the challenge. The ball clearly goes off Paul Reed's foot here. Yeah, so the Jazz are going to win this challenge. It's going to stay here with Utah. Still anybody's basketball game. 7-point lead. Pistons stole it away. Gets it back, though, from Utah. Back up in the air. A crazy circus shot off the rim. And they're going to throw it right back. They try to make a half-court pass, and it's going to be turned over once again. Jazz to full court. Gets it to go. Keontae George. What a shot from Keontae George. 78-73 basketball game. Karis LeVert back to Cade. Cade trying to make a man miss, working on Walter Clayton. Cade inside, gets it off the rim, gets his own board, misses the shot, and it's going to be back to the Utah Jazz. Nurkic inside. That's going to be blocked by Paul Reed, but that's going to be a foul. Count the bucket and one. That's going to be goaltending on Paul Reed. So 78-75 basketball game. All of a sudden a 3-point game. It could be 2, pending this free throw here. I might do MSU basketball. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to stick with the Pistons. But if they're, March Madness, I think I'm definitely going to do Michigan State March Madness games. But regular season, maybe. We'll see. Cade Cunningham working on Keontae George. Back to Ron Holland for 3. Holland gets it to go. Huge hoop from Ron Holland, and the Pistons regain a 6-point lead here. Big hoop from Ron Holland on the corner there. 10 minutes left to play here in the fourth quarter. Pistons up 6. 9:40 left to play here in the game. Karis LeVert working on Walter Clayton. Clayton gets it inside to Nurkic. Nurkic back outside to Keontae George. Nurkic turns it over, and it's going to be Pistons basketball. Yeah, I saw that rocker. The women's team, destroyed. I don't even know who they were playing. They won by, 90 points, though. It was insane. 81-75 game, 9:30 left to play. Pistons back the other way. Cade with the basketball. Gives it back outside to Asar. Asar working inside. It's going to be a foul called on Nurkic working on Asar. Oh, sorry, guys. Gotta get the commercial break. Gotta get used to turning those on and off. I like to put it up, though, because, if people tune in, they're like, okay, where's the game? And I can say it's a commercial break. What's up, Connor? How you doing, dude? Laurie playing against his future team. I would love Laurie, but he would cost a lot. Cade Cunningham, pull-up jump shot. Good. 83-75 Pistons. I would love Laurie Markkinen. He'd be a perfect player for the Pistons. We kind of already have Tobias Harris, who's kind of the same player, but Markkinen, I think, is better than Tobias. That would be awesome, though. Markkinen working on Paul Reed. He's going to go to the free throw line. Going to get foul called on Paul Reed here. Yeah, he's been a hot topic for the Pistons. There's been a lot of rumors circulating for the trade deadline in a couple months. I think the Jazz, though, would probably want 2 firsts for him, and I don't know if they're willing to give up Markkinen. So, I like what the Pistons are doing. We have a really nice young core. I say we just keep building off our young core. And I don't think there's really a necessary need to go reach or spend too much on, a guy at the trade deadline, essentially. Markkinen's really nice, though. But it depends on what the cost is for Markkinen. Because if it's 2 first-rounders, that's going to be a hard sell for me. He would be a really nice piece, though. He'd fit perfectly in our offense, though. But, you know, he's a stretch four. Tobias is a stretch four, so they're kind of the same player. But yeah, I mean, like, you know, if Tobias is getting up there in age, you know, maybe somewhere down the line. So Pistons have an 8-point lead going into the fourth quarter. Pistons take a timeout. So they got 2 timeouts left to play here in the game. Utah's got 3, my bad. There we go. 3 timeouts left. So the Pistons are going to challenge this call here. They don't know if that last play was good enough for the Jazz. So they're going to see if they can overturn this call here. 8:59 left to play here in the fourth quarter. Coming back from a commercial break before here. If you guys are new to the stream, hit the like button, subscribe. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. Thanks for being here, everybody. Hope you guys are having a great Wednesday night. What's happening, everyone? How we doing? Pistons got the Nets on Friday. Looking forward to that. Be doing that play-by-play game for you guys as well. Nets are 0-7 to start the season. That is quite a dumpster fire over in Brooklyn. It's crazy. The Nets literally had Kyrie Irving and KD, and they kind of fell flat on their face in the playoffs. You remember that shot KD hit in the playoffs? I forgot who it was against, but he was like literally a toe away from winning the game and going to like the Eastern Conference Finals, I think, or the semifinals or whatever it was. But yeah, his foot was on the line. And James Harden. Yeah, they had James Harden, KD, and Kyrie all on the same team, and they couldn't win. It doesn't even feel real that the Nets had all 3 of those guys. Those are 3 very solid players. You know, you got one Hall of Famer for sure in KD. James Harden and Kyrie, I don't know if they're Hall of Famers, but they're good players. Markkanen, first free throw good. Second free throw on the way is up and in. 6-point basketball game. 83-77. 9 minutes left to play here in the fourth quarter. Pistons struggling from the free throw line. They're 11 for 20. Jazz are 20 for 22. Cade back inside to Paul Reed. Paul Reed, reverse layup is up and good. How about Paul Reed, man? I love Paul Reed, dude. He needs to get more minutes on this team. He can play defense. He can make his own shot. Yeah, Paul Reed is a solid bench player for the Pistons on this team. Yeah, Nets need to think about moving out of New York. Yeah, I mean, a different expansion city might take him. But yeah, that's a good thought. Keontae George working on Javonte Green. 8:30 left to play in the fourth quarter. Javonte Green working on Walter Clayton. Walter Clayton gets it to go and the foul. Count the bucket. And Walter Clayton's going to go to the free throw line. If you guys are new to the stream, hit the like button. Subscribe. It helps me out. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. We're going to be doing a bunch of these Pistons play-by-play games this season. Jalen Duren checks in the basketball game for Paul Reed. Seattle, Pittsburgh, Vegas. Vegas would be kind of cool to have a team. They should bring back the Seattle Supersonics. That'd be sweet. Seattle's a really good sports town. So Walter Clayton gets the free throw. A 5-point basketball game. 8:20 left to play here in the fourth quarter. Cade to full court, working on Svi Mykhailiuk. Cade, turnaround jump shot is good. That is so hard to defend. He goes in the paint, drives, turns, spins around jump shot, fires for Cade. That's going to be a turnover from Filipowski. Nice defense on Cade. 8:07 left to play here in the fourth quarter. The leading scorer right now for the Jazz, it was Mikhail. Let's see if it is still. Cade Cunningham back outside Javonte Green. Cade back outside, works on Filipowski. Cade trying to make a man miss. Cade, spot up, jump shot, 3. Good. 90-80 basketball game. Cade Icewood making his magic felt on the floor here. 90-80 game. Mikhailu gets back to Clayton. Gets inside to Nurkic. Yeah, Mikhailu has 22. Inside, Mikhailu's got 22 points. 90-82 basketball game. Mikhailu was a former Piston, too. Cade with the basketball. 7:23 left to play in the fourth quarter. This is where Cade takes over in this game. Cade working inside of Mikhailu. Cade, turnaround jump shot. Good. Cade, Icewood, Cunningham, making men miss and putting the ball in his hand when he matters most. Pistons with a steal. Ausar back the other way. Ausar to the bucket. Gets it to go, and the Pistons have a 12-point lead with 7 minutes left to play here in the fourth quarter. Ausar shaking up on the play. Hopefully Asar's all right. Jazz take a timeout. They got 2 timeouts left. Hopefully Asar's all right. Ausar went down off of that layup. Hopefully Asar's okay, though. 94-82 basketball game. Looks like Asar's fine. He's getting up. A little scary, though. $94-82 basketball game. Pistons came out of nowhere on that fast break, and they are up 12, about to put the nail in the coffin here on the Utah Jazz. Again, you saw it, though, as a competitive back-and-forth basketball game all the way through and through. And then the Pistons kind of took over in the third quarter. They almost outscored the Jazz by 11. Yeah, it looks like Asar's all right. He kind of took an awkward, weird fall at the end there. Nice drive and finish, though, from Ausar. Looks like he's all right. Scary, though, to see Ausar fall down like that. You need Ausar on this team to be successful, so hopefully he's all right. It was a non-contact injury, and those are always the scariest, but it looks like Asar's fine. He's being attended to on the sideline. He walked off, so it looks like he's all right. He might be done for the night, but hopefully Asar's okay. Keontae George come back the other way for the Jazz. 7 minutes left to play here in the game. Markkanen to the basket, and he's going to get fouled against Javonte Green. And Markkanen's going to go back to the free throw line. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. Like and subscribe if you guys are new. We're going to be doing as many Pistons games as we can this season. Pistons have a 12-point lead in the fourth quarter. 6:53 left to play here in regulation. Markkanen first free throw on the way. It is up and good. 94-83 game. Markkanen was averaging 31 a game coming into tonight's game. Markkanen, second free throw on the way, is up and good. 94-84 game. 6:50 left to play here in the fourth quarter. Pistons coming back the other way. Cade back to Duncan. Duncan working on the Jazz. Cade almost lost it. Cade. Duran sets the screen. Cade back to Duran. Duran inside. Gets it back outside to Cade. Try to set it up again. Cade working inside. Cade jump shot. Off the rim. And the Jazz are going to board this back down the other way. 6:30 left to play here in the fourth quarter. Here come the Jazz. Markkanen with the basketball. Lost it. Was guarded by Javonte Green. Lost it out of his hands. It's going to be a turnover coming back the other way for the Pistons. 94-84 basketball game. If you guys are new to the stream, hit the like button, subscribe. It's free. It helps me out a ton. Duncan Robinson with the basketball. Duncan gets it blocked by Filipowski. 6 minutes left to play here in the fourth quarter. Filipowski going at Duncan Robinson. Filipowski gets it to go. 94-86 basketball game. 6 minutes left to play here in the game. A lot of time left for the Jazz. Duran with the basketball, top of the key. Duran gets it back to Cade. Cade guarded by Keontae George. Cade trying to set the offense up. 5 seconds left on the shot clock. Duren sets the screen. Cade uses it. 3. Good! Cade Cunningham, huge three-pointer. 97-86 basketball game. Cade is taking over in the fourth quarter, like I said earlier in the first half. He gets his teammates involved in the first half. In the second half, he takes over. Keontae George working on Ron Holland off the glass. No good. Here come the Pistons back the other way. What's up, A1? You got the spread, dude? 10.5? You a Jazz fan? Appreciate you tuning in. Duren with the basketball, working inside. Duren, no good. Here come the Jazz back the other way. 97-86 basketball game. Keontae George, top of the key. 5 minutes left to play here in the game. Gets it back outside of Filipowski. Filipowski back to V for threes. V. Mikhailuk hits a huge shot for the Jazz. 97-89 basketball game, and the Jazz get it back down to 8. 4:48 left to play here in the games. V. Mikhailuk, 25 points, 5 for 9 from 3. Been the leading scorer for the Jazz tonight. Cade all the way to the rim. Reverse gets it to go. Cade Cunningham putting the team on his back. Reverse scoop score layup. 4:30 left to play here in the game. Cade Cunningham taking over this basketball game in the fourth. Keontae George working on Duncan. George gets it off the mark, back out to Filipowski, inside to Markkanen slams it home. 99-91 game. Jazz in the bonus. Timeout for the Pistons. They got 1 timeout left. Cade is taking over this fourth quarter. Putting the team on his back. 99-91. Pistons take a timeout. They got 1 left. Jazz have 2 left. Mikhailuk, 25 points. Keontae George, 15 points. Markkanen, 20. Nurkic, 6 points, but he's got 16 boards. Cade Cunningham, 26 points, 9 assists. Asar's got 14 and 7. Asar took a scary fall a couple minutes ago. Hopefully he's all right, though. He seemed to be fine. Nothing too serious, I don't think. Duren, 22 points, 18 boards. Ron Holland, Karis LeVert putting in some productive minutes for the Pistons on the bench. 10 for Karis, 9 for Holland. 99-91 basketball game approaching the end of regulation. 4 minutes left to play here in the fourth quarter. If you guys are new, hit the like button, subscribe. What's going on, everyone? Coming back from commercial break here. 4:18 left to play here in the fourth quarter. Jazz are in the bonus. Pistons retain possession. Cade back the other way. Trying to set up and direct the offense here. Beef Stew sets the screen for Cade. Cade uses it. Backdoor to Duncan Robinson. Back to Cade. Cade working on the three-point line. Cade trying to make a man miss. Pull up from the wing, and he hits it. Cade Cunningham gets it to go. 101-91 Pistons. 4 minutes left to play here. Lauri Markkanen for 3. That's good. Huge hoop for the Utah Jazz. 101-94. Jazz are holding their ground. They're making this interesting. Asar back the other way. 3:40 left to play in the game. Cade with the basketball. Working on Markkanen. Cade for 3. Gets it to go. Cade Cunningham. Heat check. 104-94. Stop playing with Cade Cunningham. 3:30 left to play in the game. Cade's got 31 points. Keontae George to the hole. Blocked by Duren. Saves it. Here come the Pistons the other way. Asar Thompson to full court. Asar working on Filipowski. Asar back to Cade. Cade, heat check for 3. Off the mark. Duren with the board. Duren keeps it with Detroit. Back to Cade. Cade, 3 minutes left to play here. ISO, 5 seconds left. Here comes Cade from half court. Oh my gosh, off the rim, and Duren with the rebound. That was from half court. Cade shot that at. Holy cow, that would have been a heat check. The place would have exploded. Cade gets it to go, though. Left-handed, no good, and the Jazz come back the other way. That was intense. 104-94. Keontae George looks like, I don't know. It looks like it was off Keontae George, but they're going to say it's still Utah basketball. Cade has been on fire. 104-94 Pistons. 2:41 to play. It looks like the Jazz just hit a 3-point shot. Svi Mykhailiuk hits a 3 and the foul. Count the bucket and the foul. Svi Mykhailiuk is on fire for the Jazz tonight. Fouled by Duncan Robinson. Gets a crazy roll. We have a 104-97 basketball game. The Jazz will not go away. Career high for Svi Mykhailiuk. 28 points. Free throw off the mark. Pistons get the board, though. Back to Cade. Cade coming back the other way. 104-97. Another ISO for Cade here. Asar's going to help him out, though. Sets the screen on Mykhailiuk. Cade coming back the other way. Cade gets it inside to Asar. Asar inside. Gets it to go. 106-97. We got 2 minutes left to play here in regulation. 106-97. Pistons looking to put the nail in the coffin here. Nurkic working on Duren. Markkanen with the basketball. Working on Duren. Markkanen going at Duren inside. Markkanen gets it to go. Huge hoop for Lauri Markkanen. 106-99 here. 2 minutes left to play. The Jazz are not going down without a fight. Cade back the other way. Guarded by Svi at the top of the key. Duncan Robinson comes to set the screen. Cade working on Svi. Cade gets it back outside to Asar. Asar shot about a 3. Thought about it. Gets it back to Duncan for 3. Duncan hits it to go. Huge 3 from Duncan Robinson. 109-99 Pistons. A minute 30 left to play here in regulation. Markkanen takes a 3. Way off the mark. Filipowski with the rebound. No good. Cade boards it. Throws it into bounds. It's going to be, looks like a, out of bounds though. It's going to stay here with Utah. Cade just finds the open guy. He's been limiting on his turnovers too. He's been great so far. Duncan Robinson's been huge for the Pistons down the stretch here. Same with Cade. Big basket for the Pistons here. Jazz down to their last chance here. They got to score 3 here. Duren working on Keontae George. George going to the basket. Gets it to go. 109-101. Pistons coming back the other way. Cade guarded by Svi. Cade to full court. 105 left to play here. Cade gets it back to Asar. Asar outside to Beef Stew for 3. Yeah, hits it to go. Beef Stew with a huge 3. 112-101. Pistons up 11 with 50 seconds left. This game is over. Keontae George inside works it around to Svi Mykhailiuk for a 3. Crazy shot. No good. Nurkic with the rebound back to Filipowski. Filipowski gets it outside to Keontae George. 30 seconds left. This game is over. It's going to be an offensive foul called on the Utah Jazz, and the Pistons are going to run out the clock here. 112-101. Spread was 10.5. It's crazy how freaking accurate Vegas is. It's unbelievable. 34 seconds left to play here in the fourth quarter. Unbelievable. We're going to take a commercial break here. Dude, Connor, Pistons hit 3s, man. They can compete with any team in the East, man. Duncan Robinson's going to be helpful. You know, he's still a question mark. He's not as good as Beasley was, but yeah, if Cade is on his A game, I mean, Cade is arguably a top 5 player in the NBA. If he is, like, on it, I don't think anybody can guard Cade Cunningham if he's on it. Stop Fraudulent Greed's got the 10.5. It's going to be close, dude. 112-101, 30 seconds left. Utah's going to challenge this call here against the Pistons. Keontae George shot a 3. They're going to see if it was a foul called on Cade on the 3-point shot. It's going to be an exciting season. I can't wait till Ivy gets back. I think when Ivy gets back, that's going to really say a lot about this team. If Ivy can be an all-star caliber player, to the Robin to Cade's Batman, this is a really nice young core that the Pistons have. Oh, it's Random Ryan. Okay, I thought it was Ryan, but I wasn't sure. So I just, yeah, because I recognize the Blackhawks logo. I'm like, is this Ryan? I'm not sure. Cade fouls Keontae George on the three-point attempt, so the Jazz are going to go to the free throw line to shoot 3 free throws. All right. 112-101. This game is over. It's a matter of the spread now. Keontae George kind of elbowed Cade in the face, but since Cade kind of leaned into him, it's going to be a foul call. And Keontae George is going to shoot 3 free throws here. (112-101). Cade Cunningham. When you win the lottery, you better hit on your number 1 overall pick, and the Pistons have done that. 112-101. He misses the first free throw. Here come the next 2. Second free throw on the way here for Keontae George. Gets it to go. 112-102. 34 seconds left to play here. As far as, like, I don't know if the Jazz are going to shut down here. I mean, they're going to be down 9 with 30 seconds left. I don't see... I mean, they could play aggressive, but, I mean, Pistons might just easily run out this clock as well. So I don't know what they're going to do here. Let's find out. Keontae George, third free throw attempt on the way. 112-102. George hits it to go. 112-103. They're going to double team Cade here. Cade's looking for somebody to get it to go to. He's going to be fouled, though. So Cade gets fouled. They're not in the bonus yet. The Jazz had a foul to give. So Pistons are still going to inbound this basketball. .31 seconds left to play here in the fourth. Duncan back to Cade. Cade gets it over to Asar to full court. Asar, triple team. He's going to be fouled by Ace Bailey, and Asar is going to go to the free throw line. 112-103 Pistons. Looking good comfortably for the Pistons here. Appreciate you guys all tuning in, man. Like and subscribe if you guys are new. We're going to be doing as many Pistons games as we can this year. Asar hits the first free throw, 113-103. Cade Cunningham checks out of the game. Cade, another great game from the superstar himself. He stay healthy, man, please, this year. Asar hits it to go, 114-103. 24 seconds in the fourth quarter. Markkanen takes a deep 3 off the mark. Beef Stew boards it, and that is going to be it. Pistons win 114-103, and they cover the 10.5 point spread. Unfreaking believable. How does Vegas do it? 114-103, Pistons win. Huge win at home. They got the Nets on Friday. Appreciate you guys all tuning in, man. What's up, Nicole? How you doing? Good to see you. That's all I got for you guys tonight. Pistons win 114-103. Appreciate you guys all being here. Love you all. I will see you guys on Friday night for the next Pistons game, and then we'll be doing Thursday Night Football as well tomorrow. So, good deal. Peace out. Love you guys. God bless. God is great. I'll see you guys on tomorrow for the Thursday Night Football game, and then Friday for Pistons again.